Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going through our July numbers, so our net worth, what we earned, what we spend, what we saved. So if you're nosy and like that sort of thing, we're going to get into it. Just before I say my disclaimer, because obviously this is not financial advice, it's our own personal experience, our own personal numbers, so definitely not financial advice. For the month of July, we earned $15,343. We spent $978, and we saved $5,365. And our net worth increased by $9,270. So we have a little summary there of our month of July. We had that income, as I spoke about before. The amount that went to bills was $1,590, which we'll get into. Subscriptions, $25. Our expenses were $8,363. And then those savings, which we spoke about just before. Let's have a look at that income breakdown. We have my husband's income, which gets paid on the first of the month. He's an electrician, he works for himself, so we pay him that wage each month. So we use his income to do kind of all of those big direct debits at the start of the month. And then we have my teaching income, and that is paid weekly, even though I get paid fortnightly, because we pop all of my income into an income account and then pay myself a weekly wage because I like to get paid weekly, and it just helps to keep our budget consistent, and it works for us. And then we had our dividends paying. We had 4 different dividends paying. We had NAB, IVV, VGS, and VAS. And I've got a screenshot of our dividend calendar, which I just discovered on ShareSite. So I'm loving that right now. And you can see where each of those dividends were paid in the month. Okay, let's get into what we spent. We spent $800, well, no, we didn't spend $800 on school fees. That's going into a sinking fund right now. My eldest doesn't start private school until next year, so we're just trying to build that up. We had OSH, which is after school care, so $240. Shares interest, that's what we paid on our shares loan. Now that's a little bit more than usual because we moved some money out of the offset account for that loan. Now it's back in the offset account, so hopefully it's less next month. So $700. Mortgage is $0 at this point in time because it's fully offset. Food, $1,400. We really try and stick to that amount. It's actually good when it comes under. And when it is under, we actually buy Woolworths gift cards and they stay in our Woolworths app. So that then helps with the next month. So for example, if we only spent $1,300 on food that month, I would buy a $100 Woolworths gift card, and then that would just stay in the app for when we need it. So it just smooths out that amount just a little bit more. Non-essentials, $85. I went back and had a look, and that was mostly school activities because it was the school holidays. So we went to Plaster Fun House, we hired a tennis court, and we also went to Dreamworld as well. But most of those expenses were already paid for because we had the annual pass. Takeaway was a little bit more than usual, $274. We're feeling a little bit tired and run down and a bit burnt out, to be honest. So that's what happens sometimes in life. So then our takeaway expense is a little bit more. Kids sport, $565, which was swimming lessons and swimming squad. Child expenses was pocket money. Gym, $455. This is more than usual because there was an extra direct debit in the month. And I also had to top up the creche credits. So we have to pay for the boys to attend the creche, and that's not all the time, but we do have to pay for that as well. Medical, $182. I went to the doctor and then I had a heap of scripts to get, so that all adds up. Our Best Life Fund, we put $1,800 into that, $1,000 into the investment property sinking fund or offset account. Dining out, I only went out once, and that was $115. Clothing, $135, and that was mostly new underwear. Sometimes it gets to a point where all of your underwear needs replacing at once. Beauty and grooming, $410, but I did have to get my hair done. That doesn't happen all of the time. And then a monthly pedicure in there as well. Alcohol, $0 because we did dry July. Well, dry July when we're at home, and we don't go out that much anyway, but no drinking at home in July. Birthdays and gifts was $155. We made use of a Flybuys deal where if you bought a $25 gift card, you got a $5, well, you got $5 worth of Flybuys. So we've got those gift cards, and a lot of the things on those gift cards where you can spend the money is things that we would use for presents, or we could even give a gift card as a present. So I've allocated that into birthdays and gifts. Alrighty, let's get into the savings. Now we had investment property principal, $1,100. The shares loan principal went down $865, and then our savings to invest $3,400 for the month. Just made a share purchase yesterday. We used $3,000 of that money for our share purchase yesterday, and we bought some Bank of Queensland shares. So then we have our bills. So we just have a bills account where all of our bills come out of. So I put $1,200 into that account last month. That's things like house insurance, power, rates, electricity, pretty much those things. And then health insurance, $390. We have hospital and extras, and our hospital is silver cover, I believe. And subscriptions, I worked really hard to reduce those over the last few months. Everyday Extra, that's an annual thing, so it's not in there. KO is half price at the moment. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. If you go into the app and you pretend you're cancelling, they may offer you half price for 6 months, so definitely worth it. Disney, $10 as well for the month. Netflix we do have, but again, we use some gift cards when Coles or Woolworths had the extra points. So we use the gift cards to load into our Netflix account, so we're not paying that monthly right now. We'll probably kick back in again soon. All right, I really love to see where our money goes each month because I really like to check in and check that where our money is going matches with our values. And savings to invest, of course. Our best life is what I always want to be at the top when it comes to our spending. I had to create this account because I did have a problem with spending money. So that money is in there for me to try and spend without any guilt. And because I feel like we have built a pretty good life and we should be able to enjoy some of our money guilt-free. So I'm really working hard at that. Food, we value good food, $1,400. Household bills, well, I don't value those. Well, I do value having the lights on. It is what it is. And then we've got the investment property principal, investment property, shares loan principal, school and education, shares interest, kids sport and gym. Well, they're pretty much everything that we do value. Now let's get into the total net worth. Now I didn't mention this earlier, but all of what you're seeing here are screenshots from our Plenty budget planner. And I do have an affiliate link in my description if you're interested. So our total net worth is $2.63 million. And you can see how it's trending upwards. In February, we increased our property values, which might have not been such a great idea. We'll chat about soon. And then if we have a look at our assets versus liabilities, you can see where the houses went up, obviously, but then you can see like a tiny trending upwards, which is I like to see, and the liabilities are very, very tiny trending downwards. Our asset distribution is 67% properties, which is very high. Cash and bank accounts 0.1%, and investments 32.8%. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, our net worth went up $9,270. So let's chat about how that came about. Now, as you might have noticed, I do like to round up numbers. So I've rounded up most of these numbers to the nearest 100 because, I don't know, a bit crazy, I suppose. Anyway, and I'm also going to go through our assets from the least impact to our net worth to the highest, or some of these were a negative impact to our net worth. So let's have a look. Our savings current balance is $1,970. It actually made our net worth go down $330, but that was because we invested some money. So you're going to see that money added into our investments very soon. So it did have a negative impact on our net worth, but not really because we bought shares. Anyway, this one I want to talk about. Our home is currently, well, I've currently valued it at $1.5 million. We don't have a loan, so the monthly change was $0, but realestate.com.au is now valuing it at $1.45 million. And that's $100,000 less than last month and $10,000 less than the month before. So I haven't adjusted the value of the house down yet. I like to wait until there's a trend over just a few months. If I'm changing it every month, it's just bouncing our net worth all over the place and I just don't see the point. But again, I can do what I want. It's my net worth. You do you. This is personal finance. This is what's making sense to me. But I'm not going to reduce it to maybe increase it the next month, although I don't think property prices are going to increase next month. But let's wait and see. So then there's my husband's retirement. It just had a monthly change of $200, even though we did put a fair bit in there. But anyway, that's just how the share market works. And then our investment property had a monthly change of $1,000, which is just what we paid off the principal. Now, again, at least this one, my value is $1.1 million. and realestate.com.au has valued it at 1.12 million. So at least my value is under at the moment, but it went down $50,000 from the last month. And then the month before it also went down $50,000. So things are not looking too good, but it is what it is. Then my retirement went up $2,400. And then we had our stock market investments. They're now valued at $528,000 with a loan of $305,000. And we had a monthly change of $12,000. But remember, some of that is from money we invested back from our savings. Alrighty, what I don't include in our net worth is our sinking funds, but we can chat about those. I did mention our Best Life Fund, so that's got $21,800 in it. It's going to take a beating next month when we pay for our Fiji accommodation. So I do want to have that around $20,000, but I'm just building it up in preparation for that Fiji accom. School fees, $7,000. I'm trying to get that up to $10,000. Just love round numbers. Bills account is $1,100. I like to have a $1,000 buffer in there. The investment property is $5,730. That's enough for a monthly repayment, which is where I like it to be. But I'm also leaning towards trying to build that up to $10,000 because we're going to be making some changes next year with our budget. So it'll be good to have some of these sinking funds just a little bit higher in preparation for some big life changes next year. Well, that's it for this week's video. I hope you value the transparency and I'll catch you in the next video.